So I host that one. Hey, Andy. Yeah. I got to have you turn that down all the way to nothing.
Bill, no comments.
All right. Good evening and welcome to the June 9th, 2020 regular meeting at a report. My name is Bill Haddad. I'm the school board president. Let me introduce our board in attendance. Our vice president, Mr. Lauren Crosby, Mr. Tim Bazan, Mr. Wesley Hood, Mrs. Debbie New, Mrs. Kathleen Niles, and Mrs. Tracy Quinn. Our superintendent of schools, Mr. Sean Becerra, our assistant superintendent, Mr. Chris Clancy, and our school business leader, Mr. Nick Panuccio. May I please have you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening. All right, routine matters. Number one, resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the following routine matters. Board of Education minutes from May 21st, 2020, May 28th, 2020, and the CSE recommendations that are part of your package. May I please have a motion?
So moved.
Did I get a second? Nick, you tell me, are you good? Okay. Any discussion, corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Panuccio, I don't believe we received any public comments at all.
No, we did not.
All right, just double checking. There are no presentations this evening. No old business. We'll move on here. New business. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve policy 4600, fingerprinting and criminal history record checks for prospective employees. May I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Any discussion? Anything here special, Lauren?
No, just again, some updating the language and get us current with some of the wording.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 2, resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the cooperative bidding agreement with Madison Oneida Bose's for the 2020-21 school year. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the health services with Fayetteville Manlius School District for the 2020 school year. May I have a motion, please?
Is that for last year or is that for the coming year? I guess we have to have the motion first, right?
Just
Yeah,
for the current year.
yeah. I'll do the motion here. We'll have to correct this.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Lauren. Okay, so discussion. Yeah. So is this 19? I can't. I'm not in a position to open up the packet.
It should be for 2021.
No, it should be for, it is for 1920 because they bill us at the end of the year for their nursing services that they provide for the kids at Canastota that go to a parochial school out in there.
So this is actually an invoice with for services, not an agreement.
Correct. This is the nursing services. They, by law, they can bill us back for it.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 4, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the memorandum of understanding with Onondaga Community College for the 2020-21 school year. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 5, resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby create 2 11-month grant-funded probationary instructional positions. A, an instructional technology coach. B, a literacy coach. May I have a motion?
So move.
Second. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the 2020-21 non-negotiating administrators, professional and confidential staff contracts. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of school, the board does hereby approve the revised election inspector list for the June 16th budget trustee vote. May I have a motion?
So move.
Second, please.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. So I'll give you a little bit of update on this. This is basically to add personnel to this as the overwhelming.
A couple more because we have close to, a large number of votes. We needed to have a couple more people help us count.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Committee reports. I don't think anybody met, right? Did anybody have we met, right?
Yeah, the facilities, Matt.
Go ahead, Wes.
So facilities update is, we talked with our architects as well as the construction management team. They're on track to keep everything going so that we can put this out to bid in late fall and hopefully have contracts in place in January. They have some design documents in place. So right now things seem to be moving along smoothly on that. And as far as the field goes, they've met in regards to the field. I believe we're supposed to get an update, probably not this week, but next week we'll have an update in regards to what the possible choices will be for the field. And things seem to be going well with that. So we're in good shape. They're very positive that we got off with the ball running quickly, and we should be one of the first to take off in the late fall.
Perfect. Any questions on facilities? Anybody? Anybody else meet? Policy was canceled this evening, correct? I don't believe any safety didn't have anything, right,
No.
Debbie?
No.
Audit did meet also on the same night last week as facilities. We handle the standard transfers and some understanding for that. And the big thing here is we just need to get through. We were hoping by tonight that we would be done with the budget vote. But we got to wait another 7 days. So any questions for audit or any concerns? Okay. Board comment period. Anybody would like to? All right. The only thing I just had one thing here. I attended last night. I drove my daughter for the seniors to pick up their caps and gowns and yearbooks. It was wonderful. There was teachers there greeting all the students as they came through in their cars. They finished up they got in the middle of that. They had their photos taken. Jackie Hood was there with a fancy frame that she took all the graduates' photos out of their car, and then they ended up with balloons and ice cream on the way out. So it was very nice. The package that they put together was very nice from the advisors. So it was very nice. It's not what we want. It's not, again, as we all know, that's not the end all game of this year. But it was something in, I guess, between now and what hopefully to be an in-person graduation. So, but I wanted to thank all the staff that was there. Mr. Antabello was there greeting all the students as they came through also. So it was very nice. Anybody else?
Well, I just, again, I heard, I did not view it, but I heard about the yearbook dedication to Jackie Hood. And I just want to say that as the alumni, and I just want to say that I don't know that there's anybody that's more deserving than Jackie. And I just think that she does, this amazing job for everybody. And just the fact, for example, and I heard this morning that she was there last night. And I just think it's just so appropriate. And again, I just thank Jackie and for everything she does. And I just think it's wonderful. So thank you.
Yeah, this is kind of for the public. If you've not seen the yearbook dedication video, it was very well done. And to see the actual yearbook in its final production last evening, those kids did a great job, and along with all the student body that was in there. So it was very nice. Anybody else? All right, Mr. Pacetta, I'm going to turn it over to you for superintendent's report.
Okay, as Bill referred to, this wasn't exactly the ending of the year that everybody had envisioned or hoped for. There's been a lot going on. And one of the words that first comes to mind in looking at the last few months is tumultuous. It was a pretty tumultuous end to 2019-20, but there are a lot of good things that have happened as well. So obviously, I know a lot of people have questions about budget and graduation. So we're going to talk about them a little bit tonight. But just wanted to reiterate the fact that a pattern has sort of settled in over the past really 3 months, from the time that we were contemplating closing school, when we were waiting to get direction from Albany regarding what we could or couldn't do, from the very moment that this crisis, this pandemic has happened. There's been a lot of uncertainty, and there's been an incredible amount of 11th hour information. Some would argue even past 11th hour, that we are having to react to very quickly. So it happened when we were closing schools. It's happened during the budget process and graduation as well. And we'll come back to that. A couple of things, though, that we've gotten some guidance on is summer school. We do know that we are able to offer summer school. Our offerings this year will be a combination at the high school level of summer school offered in conjunction with BOCES. We also are going to be able to do a version of what was the LEAP program. In the next few days, we'll be able to announce that more specifically of what summer school will look like for the younger grade levels. But we just wanted people to know that that is in the works. We've obviously had to change some things around, but we felt that if we could at all pull off some version of summer school for younger students, then it would be well worth it. So more information on that shortly. Last item on that slide is a quick one. Reopening of school. A lot of information has been bouncing around in the media. Obviously, we're concerned about what does a potential reopening of school look like if that were to happen in the fall. One of the problems that we're struggling with is that while the governor has said that we school districts need to create and have approved by July, or in the month of July, a reopening plan, we were told several weeks ago that by June, we would have a guidance document that would let us know what we need to actually do. As you can imagine, there are a million different things and scenarios that could play out. And so we really are starving for that type of specific information from Albany. We do not have that. So as we sit here on June 9th, we do not have the specific guidance document that the state is apparently intending to provide us. That means we're going to have a very quick turnaround of having to digest the rules that they give us, come up with a structured plan, submit the plan, have it approved sometime in July, and then have a few weeks to actually make sure that the plan works and is in place. So it's going to be a very, very busy and eventful school summer around the school this year. And obviously we'll continue to update the community as we have more specific information. Unfortunately, we lack that specific information that we really need regarding reopening the school. Just a quick reminder, because it's a different than our normal end of year schedule. This Tuesday, June 16th is the last day of remote learning for our students. There is a lot of end of year activities that are happening, and I would suggest that people still consult individual building calendars and on our website for that specific information. It's certainly a busy time in all of the buildings, even if it's remote. Moving on, we wanted to regularly give you updates since the school shutdown period began of our school nutrition program. We're sitting on the doorstep of 100,000 students, 100,000 meals, being served. 99,766 through today. So by about 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll have gone past that 100,000 meal mark since mid-March, which equates to an average of 683 students receiving meals each day since the inception of the shutdown period. So again, we appreciate the community's support, and certainly want to compliment all of our staff members who've worked to make that service a good one for us. Now I want to circle back to something that's very important to us, obviously the budget timeline. I just wanted to give some context to what's happened and how unusual this year is. You see, we should have actually, a couple of weeks ago, already had a budget vote. The original vote was scheduled for May 19th. That was obviously postponed by the governor. The board adopted the budget on May 21st. We still moved ahead with our virtual budget hearing on the 28th. We thought we were headed towards a conclusion to the budget process tonight. And then literally about 48 hours ago, on Sunday afternoon, we were notified that there would be another executive order coming out, which did come out, and revise this budget process timeline. So to just make sure that everybody's clear on where everything stands, the deadline for in-person ballot drop-off here at the district office was 5 o'clock this afternoon, Tuesday, June 9th. So again, the drop-off period has ended. That window has closed. So that is we moved past that phase. What had changed in the executive order is that a window had been extended for districts to receive ballots through U.S. Postal Service. So again, to be clear, there is no longer, by law, no longer drop off at the school. The only way that ballots would be received at this point is through anything coming in through the United States Post Service. So that's where we stand. So at this point, a week from now is when the budget process will culminate. We'll tabulate the votes to see where we stand relative to this year's annual vote. So we apologize, obviously, to our community, but we don't make these rules. I just want everybody to understand we're at the mercy of what the governor has done in this respect. And so when Mr. Panuccio and I have been repeatedly telling people dates, the dates were the dates that were in force at the time that we spoke those words. But when the governor changes things on a Sunday afternoon, 2 days before the vote is supposed to be tabulated, it obviously causes some curveballs. So we just want people to understand where that change came from. It was not from us, it was from this at the state level. The other thing that we've experienced a lot of anxiety and uncertainty about is our graduation. And what does it look like? And in my regular weekly updates, I've continued to say we still have time, because we know that this governor the pattern is to make 11th hour changes that districts have to quickly adjust to. Same case with graduation. We had been moving ahead with preparing for a virtual graduation that would allow students to come in with a small number of their family. That is still occurring over the next 3 days. Tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, students and their families will be coming into the school. We'll be able to walk the stage. We'll be able to have pictures taken. We felt that it was important to be able to have that capability, to have that students and their families experience that in the school because of the unknown. We were hopeful that we still might be able to have an in-person ceremony, but on Sunday afternoon, we were informed that the 10-person cap was finally lifted, and the new guidance tells us that there is now a new cap of 150 total people that can be allowed at a graduation event. The event must be outdoors. It must still incorporate social distancing and masks and those things. And it also the window doesn't open until Friday, May 26th. So some people have been asking, what about other school events? The order was specific to graduation ceremonies, and it was not open until the 26th. So for that reason, because of the lack of the ability to plan, we've continued to move ahead. All the principals have moved ahead with ceremonies, because at this point, that's sort of where they've had to move to for virtual ceremonies. Graduation, we will be able to do some version of an in-person ceremony. We're finalizing details this week with the intention of updating everyone in the next few days. Obviously, there's a lot to consider, and quite frankly, with the rate in which the governor changes the rules, we made a calculated decision to let this decision on Sunday sink in. We wanted to notify the community that, in fact, the rules had changed, but we're not discounting the fact that there may be further clarification on those guidance, on the guidelines that he's provided. So one way or the other, we will be notifying people of what graduation will look like in the next few days. The one positive thing I would take out of this is, while it's not what anybody would like, it's certainly not the format that I would like. I know that the board would like, but at least it opens the window for some type of in-person gathering for the senior class, which we think is important. So we'll try to make the most of that opportunity.
Sean, shouldn't that read June 26th? First day under the new guidelines?
Yes, it's June. That should say June. You're right. Yep. We wish it was May 26th. That would have made,
Right.
That was just wishful thinking on my part. It's June 26th. And then finally, just the final piece, as far as just with a glimpse towards the future, we've been very consumed with graduation and the budget and trying to wrap up the final pieces of this unusual year. Just some things that are on the horizon is, as Wes mentioned, the capital project is really moving forward well. We're optimistic that we're going to be able to stay on pace with our submission to the state ed for our project review, and so we're pleased where that's going. Some other things moving into the summer and into next year, we're going to continue our focus on having a strong foundation for success. So you're going to be hearing a lot in updates and in presentations about our work in terms of curriculum alignment, K through 12, vertical coordination between grade levels and buildings. You're going to hear a lot about our work really focusing on how do we provide top quality intervention services to all of our students, and just as importantly, how do we offer the right amount of challenge and rigor to students who really can benefit from stretching and going beyond a base level curriculum. The goal is to be able to help students achieve to the best of their ability, and whether that means additional academic intervention or it means that we provide them challenges above and beyond. That's what we're focusing on. And then obviously that ties heavily into our continued emphasis on connecting to the community. And I think this change in remote learning has just magnified the fact that there are a lot of ways that kids can learn. There are a lot of ways that adults can become more creative with how we interact with students and provide them opportunities. And so we're looking forward to hopefully getting back together and actually being able to do things in person with the community again and connecting with them. And certainly, and last but not least, really want to emphasize a continued focus on how we communicate. Hopefully this experience has given all of us some new tools of being able to communicate effectively in different forms. Video conferencing, for example, was something that was not used that often in and between schools, and now it's turned out to be a pretty good tool that we want to continue to use. But there are a lot of other things that we also have learned from, and so we'll continue to communicate that to you, and look forward to updating everyone on some of the exciting things that are in store for 2020-21. So that's what I have at this point. I don't know if anybody has any questions on any of that.
Anybody questions? All right, I got a couple quick notes. Number one, congratulations to all the people, and I think congratulations is probably the wrong adjective to work on 100,000 meals. The people working that, coordinating that, making that happen is a big deal for our kids in our community. And I don't even think so much just because it was a directive from the governor about part of the closing of the schools. I think the people who are doing this have really found this in their heart to, I know it's hard work, but they know that, especially when these meals get delivered, that those kids light up and they actually have some of that that connection back to the school. Graduation, and I appreciate all the work of people working that with graduation. I encourage people to continue to call the governor's office or email or message them about removing any cap at all to maybe open up some of that. And if anybody thinks that our administrators and our staff and our teachers have the summer off, if you looked at the amount of initiatives that have to happen before potentially school opens up in some kind of fashion in September, you got a good highlight of all the different things that were there for the amount of coordination that is going to have to go in through that. And I thank you guys all for doing that and putting your best foot forward for our students and our community. So that's all I got. Anybody else?
I just like to make a quick statement. I'm pretty proud of the dedication that Jackie received in regards to the yearbook, and I just want to say, on behalf of Jackie and I, we're truly privileged and honored to be involved with all of your families and everybody's children, and watching everybody grow up over the years. It's why I think we do what we do. It's what it's all about. So thank you.
Thanks for being here, both of you.
Yeah.
I know that, Wes is kind of the bad guy. The bag. carries the bag around for her.
Yeah, I'm the bag man.
Hey, everybody needs one.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else here in this section? All right. All right. J, personnel recommendation. All appointments are pending clearance on fingerprinting. Resignations and retirement. A, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Tina Sparra's letter of resignation as a special education aide effective June 30th, 2020. May I have a motion?
So moved with a lot of regret.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Karen Alberti's letter of resignation as a Spanish teacher effective August 31st, 2020. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Good luck to Mrs. Alberti. All right. Permanent appointments, there are none. Substitute appointments. Hereby, that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby appoint Ms. Sparra as a non-certified substitute teacher at $85 a day and as a substitute teacher aide at $13.51 per hour effective July 1st, 2020. May I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I have no coaching, no other, still no public comment period. Future dates. So June 10th through the 12th is Walk the Stage. This is where the seniors are going to basically have their part of it. I'm going to add a couple things. On June 15th, there's a section 3 at 6 o'clock on CW6 or CNYCentral.com streaming. Section 3 Athletics Awards. I haven't seen a list, but I'm assuming we would have a couple.
Yes.
Okay.
Where was that streaming on what?
CW6 TV and CNYCentral.com. That's the same as our graduation's going to be.
Do we know what time?
At 6.
At 6?
6 o'clock. Monday, June 15th. 6 p.m. June 22nd is the senior awards night at 6 o'clock. Is this virtual? What? I don't know what this is.
Yeah, it is.
It's virtual?
Yep.
Streamed on our website? Sorry, I don't mean to ask. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So, June 25th starting at 7:30 on the CW6 and CNYCentral.com will be streaming our graduates. And then on June 27th, the 2020 graduation ceremony streamed online starting at 9:30 a.m.
Bill, what time on the 25th?
The 25th is 7:30.
30.
And what's the date again for section 3? The 16th?
15th, Monday night, June 5th.
Monday. Okay.
Senior awards are on the 22nd. I believe that's a Monday night also at 6 o'clock on the Canastota schools website. Okay. Anything else? Anything at all? All right. We have no executive session tonight, so I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you and enjoy your evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Next week.